Today's video is about a sensitive subject about what's going on here in the Lakewood Ranch area. And the reason I say it's sensitive is because I've had a couple of clients call me, people who are not living here currently, people who have houses under contract, and they want to know about property values after hurricanes come through and how they actually affect our area. So today we're going to be addressing that subject, but I want to do it with a very kind heart because I am overwhelmed with emotion for my friends that are on Anna Maria Island, for those that are on Longboat Key, down on Siesta Key, because I have a lot of clients that are down there. And those areas have been heavily affected by these last two storms that have come through this area for Manatee and Sarasota counties. But I do have to make sure that I can communicate this correctly to the clients that I do have here for the Lakewood Ranch area. So, you don't get something for nothing, and people have beautiful homes on the islands, on the barrier islands. They get to enjoy those beautiful views, enjoy the beach life, and then with that comes the possibility of storms, which we have seemed to experience a couple of this year, and this is going to be the first direct storm that we've had that came straight across the Gulf from the west and hit right into the Siesta Key area, which of course spread up and down our west coast. But what I'd like to point out to you is that over the last 5 to 6 storms, the Lakewood Ranch market has held relatively stable. So what I wanted to do is share some statistics with you, because I can't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but I can show you what's happened in the past so you can get a good idea and maybe a little bit of confidence that our market will remain steady here in the Lakewood Ranch area. So I went back and pulled the last 5 storms. There's really 7, but we don't have enough statistics for the last 2 yet going forward to see if they're going to have any dent in the market here in Lakewood Ranch. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I just pulled these statistics for 34202 and 34211. Those are the most popular zip codes here in Lakewood Ranch, and they're even down into this area. I'm 34240. I am standing in Wild Blue, and I've had a couple of my Wild Blue contacts reach out to me asking me these same questions. So we started with Irma. Now, Irma hit in September 10th, 2017. And then we went to Michael, and that hit October the 10th, 2018. After Michael, we experienced Adelia. Now, Adelia came in, and it hit August 30th of 2023. Followed up by Debbie this year in August of 2024, Helene September the 27th of this year, and then, of course, our latest hurricane, which was Milton, October 9th, 2024. So what I did was I ran the statistics for the sales and for the average price per square foot for 34202 and 34211 for the following quarter, not just the next month, because the next month is too short of a time frame to be able to get a good state of where the market is and what's happening with the housing market for our area here in Lakewood Ranch. So I did it for the next quarter. So when one hit in September, then I would be doing the October, November, December quarter, which is the last 3 months, last quarter of the year, to see where prices were. And on these charts, you're going to be able to see what happened from there on, and then it transferred on out through up until current time. So when September 10th came and Irma hit, you can see that the next quarter for Irma, the sales were the same, and that the pending sales actually went up some. Then in Michael, when Michael hit, we had basically the same thing. We had strong sales the quarter that Michael hit, and then the following quarter, sales were down slightly, but pending sales went up. So the sales that were down that quarter were probably from a lack of homes that were actually pending from the quarter before. But typically we're closing houses in 30 to a 45-day time frame. But as you can see from this chart, when it went from October of 2018, November, December, January, February, March, it went down a hair, and then it came back up. So we feel like we didn't have very much of an impact when Michael came. So the next big storm that came ashore happened to be Ian in September of 22. And as you can see here from this chart, the next quarter, not only were the sales up, but the pendings rose also in that particular quarter. They were down just a little bit, and then they shot up after Ian hit in September of 22. Now, I think one of the reasons that this happens the way it is because, who knows, maybe people that are closer to the coast feel not as comfortable and they want to go a little bit further inland and they feel that Lakewood Ranch might fit their needs. Who knows, maybe they go into Lakeland or something like that, but they tend to maybe come in from the coast just a little bit, and Lakewood Ranch seems to fit that need. Then after Ian was Idalia, and you see that hit in August of 2023, and then after Idalia came in, sales still rose the next quarter, so it doesn't seem to have had any effect. Now, Debbie hit in August of this year, so we don't have the next quarter. Now we have just started the fourth quarter, so October, November, December of this year, we'll be able to see what's happened. But who knows? Is it from Debbie? Is it from Helene? Is it from Milton? We just don't know. So we will be watching those numbers going forward just to see what kind of an impact it would have. So that's the sales. So let's look at pricing. Maybe prices went down and that's why sales went up, because it was a depressed market. So let's look at the actual sales figures for those particular storms. So Irma. In September of 2017, Irma came in. The average price per square foot, as you can see from this chart, was hovering just over $180 a square foot. The next quarter, it went up to almost $195. So I'm not seeing a price drop there after Irma. Michael in October of 2018, well, it was hovering around $194 maybe a square foot and went up to about $198 a square foot. So I don't see anything that might indicate that we had a significant price drop due to a hurricane that happened at that time. Ian in September of 2022, well, we had an average sale price of around $330 a foot, and the next quarter it dropped slightly to about $322 a square foot. So we had a slight drop there. The next month the next quarter it was about the same, and then after that you can see that it shot back up. Some of these are going to be due to market cycles, but I wanted to make sure that it didn't have anything to do with the hurricanes. And then, of course, in August of 30, Idalia came, and as you can see, after Idalia went through, prices continued to go up. Now, I will say this, in 2022 and 2023, or really 2021 and 2022, I don't know if anything could have beat the pandemic, because the pandemic is what really drove this economy, whether we had a hurricane or not. So I think that from what I am seeing from these statistics, that the hurricane has not impacted our market values here in the Lakewood Ranch area. Now, I happen to be on this lot that I have under contract for a current buyer, and he reached out to me and said, hey, how are you feeling and what do you think is going to happen? Do you think prices are going to go down? And I don't feel that they are, but I came out here to this lot. I looked at the edge of the pond here, or the lake that's behind me, just to see if I could see where the high water mark was, to make them feel a little bit more confident, and of course myself as well. And it was probably maybe a half a foot above where the water is at the present time. So, but this is a very large lake, and so this body of water here is much more apt to hold it than some of the smaller ponds that we have in some of the other neighborhoods. Now, we did experience some lanai cage damage in this last storm and some screen damage and several trees down. So I'm going to put a link to this video that I did about the hurricane, what happened right after the hurricane, so that you can see what the results were, how we fared from this last hurricane, Milton. MarkBoehmig, Michael Saunders and Company. Well, my camera just fell off my tripod and broke, so I'm going to try and finish this video if I can.